Hello. Welcome to Dreamy Chronicles, where soothing historical tales guide you into a deep, restful sleep. Tonight, we're embarking on a long journey spanning thousands of years, from the lush mulberry fields of ancient China, across the dusty trails of the Silk Road, through the grand halls of Byzantium, the bustling markets of medieval Europe, the elegant courts of the Renaissance, the vibrant workshops of India and Japan, and finally to the dazzling fashion runways of the modern world. Imagine yourself sitting by a warm fireplace, its gentle heat wrapping around you, while the faint sound of wind rustles through distant mulberry leaves. Breathe deeply. Let your body relax. Feel each breath slow and steady, letting all tension melt away. We'll explore the journey of silk, a precious fabric that connected civilizations, transformed how humans lived, dressed, and dreamed, and became a symbol of elegance and mystery. Each story is a dream, each breath a step into a tranquil world. If you feel sleepy, let your eyelids close. The crackling fireplace will lull you, and the story will gently lead you into a deep sleep. Breathe deeply. Relax. Picture yourself stepping into an ancient garden, where silk was born in a mystical legend, and let the dream carry you through time, across far-off lands, where delicate threads wove the history of humanity. We begin in ancient China, where it all started. Breathe deeply. Relax. Listen to the wind. And let's go. Close your eyes and imagine standing in a vast garden, around 2700 BC, during the reign of the legendary Yellow Emperor of ancient China. Around you, tall mulberry trees sway in the cool breeze, their green leaves shimmering in the sunlight. The sound of birds chirping blends with the gentle trickle of a nearby stream. Sunlight filters through the leaves, casting golden patterns on the ground. This is the fertile land of the Yellow River Valley, where people thrive on the rich soil, growing rice, millet, and most importantly, mulberry trees, the plant that would change human history. You step closer to a woman sitting under a mulberry tree. She wears a simple cloth tunic, her hands deftly picking leaves and placing them into a bamboo basket. She smiles, saying this is her daily task, gathering leaves to feed silkworms, tiny creatures that are more valuable than gold. You lean down, peering into a bamboo tray on a wooden stand. Plump white silkworms are munching on the leaves, their soft chewing sounds echoing, munch, munch. The fresh scent of mulberry leaves fills the air, mingling with the crisp breeze, creating a peaceful, calming feeling. The woman shares a legend with you. She says that long ago, Empress Lezu, the wife of the Yellow Emperor, discovered silk by accident. One day, while sipping tea under a mulberry tree, a silkworm cocoon fell into her hot tea. As she fished it out, delicate threads began to unravel, shimmering in the sunlight. Empress Lezu was mesmerized by the beauty of the threads and decided to find a way to turn them into fabric. She summoned her court ladies, teaching them to boil cocoons in warm water to extract the threads, then weave them into delicate sheets. This legend has been passed down through generations, and the ancient Chinese believed silk was a gift from nature, a miracle from the heavens. Can you imagine Empress Lezu sitting under the tree, her skilled hands unraveling the first threads of silk? Her eyes sparkle, as if seeing the glorious future of silk unfold. Now, picture yourself stepping into a small thatched hut where the woman begins her work. Inside, a bamboo loom sits near a window. Sunlight streams in, illuminating the fine threads she's pulling from the cocoons. She dips the cocoons into a pot of warm water, steam rising with the scent of beeswax and mulberry leaves. The water bubbles softly, bubble, bubble, as it blends with the sound of the loom, clack, clack. Her hands move with precision, gently pulling the threads and twisting them into long, shimmering strands, glowing like moonlight. The threads are woven into a thin, soft fabric that sparkles like a dream. The Chinese call it silk, and they guard its secret like a national treasure. Can you hear the silkworms munching on leaves? Munch, munch. It's like a lullaby, echoing from bamboo trays scattered throughout the village. You step outside, walking along a narrow village path. Around you, endless mulberry fields stretch into the distance, dotted with thatched huts. Every family raises silkworms, and the sound of looms echoes from every corner, clack, clack. The scent of mulberry leaves and wet silk fills the air, creating a serene atmosphere, like a soothing melody. The silk is dyed with natural colors, red from tree roots, yellow from turmeric flowers, blue from indigo leaves. Then rolled into bundles, ready to be sent to palaces or markets. Now, imagine standing in the palace of the Shang dynasty king, around 1500 BC. Court ladies wear long, flowing silk robes that flutter in the breeze like butterfly wings. The silk is dyed in vibrant hues, deep red, golden yellow, emerald green, with intricate embroidery of dragons and phoenixes, symbols of power and fortune. Silk is used for curtains, banners, and gifts for foreign envoys. Silk isn't just clothing, it's a symbol of wealth and authority. Only royalty and nobles are allowed to wear silk, as producing it requires immense care and time. A farmer might spend an entire month raising silkworms, harvesting cocoons, extracting threads, and weaving a single sheet. But the secret of silk couldn't be kept forever. Around 200 BC, a Chinese princess named Han Yu was married off to the king of a neighboring kingdom in Central Asia, the Sogdiana realm. It said she secretly carried silkworms and mulberry seeds in her long hair to continue weaving silk in her new land. Can you see her? A young girl with long, glossy black hair, stepping onto a wedding palanquin, her eyes filled with determination. She knows silk is her homeland's treasure, and she wants to bring it to her new home. Upon arriving in Sogdiana, she discreetly plants the seeds, raises silkworms in hidden corners, and teaches the locals how to weave silk. From there, the art of silk making begins to spread, though China still guards the secret tightly. Soldiers are stationed to watch over mulberry fields, and anyone who reveals the secret faces severe punishment, sometimes even losing a hand or being exiled. Imagine walking along another village path, where women weave silk under the shade of mulberry trees. The looms hum steadily, clack, clack. The scent of dye from roots and flowers wafts through the air, blending with the cool breeze. The silk is rolled into large bundles, ready for secret shipments. In the capital, Chang'an, artisans weave exquisite silk, embroidering images of flying dragons and white clouds, like blessings from the heavens. Silk isn't just fabric, it's art, a dream, a piece of ancient China's soul. The journey of silk doesn't end in China. By the 1st century AD, Chinese merchants bring silk to the Romans via the Silk Road. Imagine standing in the city of Rome, where Chinese silk appears for the first time. Roman nobles, draped in long togas and crowns, marvel at the beauty of silk. They call it serica, a luxurious fabric from the mysterious East. Silk is sold at exorbitant prices. A pound of silk can be traded for a pound of gold. Roman merchants travel through deserts and over mountains to bring silk back. Can you see the camel caravan moving slowly? The bells jingle, ding, ding, as the wind whistles through the sand, and the faint scent of silk drifts through the air. The silk rolls are carefully wrapped in cloth, protected from sand and harsh sunlight, like precious treasures. In a Roman palace, Emperor Augustus dons a thin silk robe, shimmering under the candlelight. Noble ladies sew silk dresses, embroidering flowers and birds, creating stunning garments. But not everyone admires silk. Some Roman philosophers, like Seneca, argue that wearing silk is unmanly because it's too soft and delicate. They worry it will erode the rugged Roman spirit. Still, demand soars, especially among the elite. Can you picture a lavish banquet? Ladies in silk dresses glide across the floor, the candlelight catching the intricate embroidery, while men debate the cost of silk imported from the East. The Silk Road doesn't just carry silk, it brings culture and trade. Roman merchants learned to barter with Central Asians, bringing back not only silk but also spices, jade, and mystical tales. Some believe silk is woven by fairies in distant forests, and owning it is a sign of good fortune. Over time, silk becomes a symbol of wealth, with powerful families competing to own the finest rolls. Can you see a Roman merchant, his money pouch heavy, trading gold for a silk roll embroidered with dragons? He smiles, knowing this silk will elevate his family's status. Breathe deeply. Relax. Can you feel it? The warmth of the fireplace, the distant desert wind, and the scent of silk. Now, imagine standing in the middle of the Gobi Desert, in the 2nd century AD. Hot wind blows, carrying golden sand across the dunes. Before you is a caravan, camels laden with goods. Chinese silk rolls are carefully wrapped, shielded from sand and sun. This is the Silk Road, a legendary route connecting East Asia to the Mediterranean. The camels' bells ring, ding, ding. Merchants from Persia, India, and Central Asia gather, trading silk, spices, and jade. The scent of dry sand and frankincense fills the air, creating a mystical atmosphere. You approach a Chinese merchant, dressed in a long silk robe, holding a shimmering roll of fabric. He says each roll represents months of labor, from raising silkworms, extracting threads, to weaving the cloth. He carefully unrolls the silk, revealing intricate embroidery, dragons and clouds, like a blessing from the heavens. Along the way, cities like Samarkand become trading hubs. You step into a bustling market, where vendors spread out silk, the sunlight highlighting vibrant colors, deep red, golden yellow, emerald green. A Sogdian merchant in a short silk tunic explains that silk from China arrives here through perilous caravan journeys, crossing deserts and mountains. He says sometimes camels are ambushed, and silk is hidden in caves for safety. Can you hear the wind howling through the desert? Hoo, hoo. It's a warning, but also an invitation to new lands. The Silk Road isn't just a trade route. It's a cultural bridge. Merchants carry stories, music, and even religions. Can you see a Buddhist monk walking alongside the caravan? He carries scriptures, sometimes trading silk for food. Gradually, silk becomes a symbol of connection, from China to India, Persia, and finally the Mediterranean. Silk is transported through treacherous paths, over the Pamir Mountains, through the Fergana Valley, where warhorses and silk are exchanged. Can you see a Persian merchant in a green silk robe, riding a horse, holding a roll of fabric? He says silk from China isn't just a commodity, it's a dream, a story of human perseverance and creativity. Imagine resting at a small inn along the Silk Road. The fireplace crackles, warmth spreading through the room. A storyteller sits beside you, his voice low and soothing. He shares tales of dangerous journeys, quicksand, snowstorms, and bandits. But he says silk is worth every risk. A single roll can sustain his family for a year. Can you see the silk rolls on the table? They gleam in the firelight, like precious gems. The scent of silk lingers, blending with the smell of burning wood, creating a cozy, comforting space. The journey of silk continues to Byzantium, a powerful empire in the West. In the 6th century, Emperor Justinian decides this secret must be his. A monk from a distant land secretly brings silkworms and mulberry seeds to Constantinople. Can you see him sneaking past guards? He hides the cocoons in a hollow bamboo staff, crossing dangerous borders. Upon arrival, he raises silkworms in the palace, starting silk production in Byzantium. From then on, Byzantium becomes a new silk hub, rivaling China. Workshops spring up, the sound of looms echoing through the city, clack, clack. In the Byzantine palace, Empress Theodora wears a gold-embroidered silk gown, regal under the candlelight. Silk is used for national banners, curtains, and diplomatic gifts. But producing silk isn't easy. Workers toil all day, pulling threads from cocoons, weaving fine cloth. Can you hear the water boiling the cocoons? Bubble, bubble. The scent of wet silk and beeswax fills the air, creating a warm atmosphere. Byzantine silk is renowned for its sheen and intricate patterns, attracting merchants from across Europe. Imagine walking through a weaving workshop in Constantinople. Workers sit at looms, their hands deftly weaving threads. Sunlight streams through the windows, illuminating silk in gold, red, and purple hues. A worker says silk isn't just fabric, it's a symbol of power and divinity. Silk embroidered with crosses adorns churches, and priests wear silk robes during ceremonies. Can you see a grand cathedral? Light streams through stained glass, making the silk on the priest's robe shimmer like a rainbow. Breathe deeply. Relax. The fireplace continues to lull you. Now, imagine being in Europe during the medieval era, in the 10th century. After Byzantium mastered silk, the technique slowly spreads to Italy through merchants. You step into a small town in Venice, where quiet canals flow. The water gently laps against stone walls, splash, splash. A small silk weaving workshop is tucked behind the houses, smoke rising from the dye vats. Italian weavers learn to raise silkworms, extract threads, and weave cloth, though the quality lags behind Byzantium's. In castles, nobles wear silk robes embroidered with roses and phoenixes, symbols of wealth. But silk remains a luxury, reserved for kings and rich merchants. Can you see a Venetian merchant transporting silk on a gondola? He wears a red silk tunic, holding a roll of fabric, chatting with customers. The Silk Road now extends beyond deserts, reaching Spain and France via the sea. Silk becomes a diplomatic gift, exchanged by kings to strengthen alliances. Imagine being at a medieval market in Florence. Silk vendors spread their wares on tables, calling out to customers. A noblewoman in a green silk dress, holding a feather fan, stops to admire a roll of embroidered silk. She says silk is her family's pride, and she'll use it to make a wedding dress for her daughter. Can you hear the crowd's chatter? It blends with the scent of silk and perfume, creating a lively yet relaxing atmosphere. During the Renaissance, silk becomes art. Imagine being in Florence in the 15th century. Artisans weave exquisite silk, embroidering angels and nature scenes. The Medici family, the most powerful, wear silk at lavish balls. The looms hum, clack, clack. The scent of dye from oak bark and lavender wafts through the air. Renaissance silk isn't just beautiful, it tells stories, with each pattern a work of art. Picture yourself at a Medici ball. Ladies in gold-embroidered silk gowns twirl on the dance floor. Light from chandeliers glints off the silk, making it sparkle like stars. An artisan says he spent a month weaving a silk piece for the Medici, with patterns of angels and roses. Can you hear the music? The harp plays, blending with laughter, creating a dreamy scene. Breathe deeply. Relax. Now, imagine being in India in the 16th century. Artisans weave silk saris, embroidering with gold and silver. You step into a workshop in Varanasi, where looms hum steadily, clack, clack. A woman in a red silk sari, with intricate patterns, inspects each thread. She says each sari is a work of art, and silk is the soul of Indian culture. In Japan, silk is used for kimonos. Can you see a Japanese woman in a silk kimono? Cherry blossom patterns shimmer on the fabric under the sunlight. Japanese silk is soft, light, like a spring dream. By the 20th century, silk is mass-produced. Imagine being in a modern factory, where machines replace looms. Yet silk retains its elegance. Can you see a fashion runway? A model walks in a purple silk dress, stage lights making it shimmer. Silk is no longer just clothing, it's a symbol of luxury and creativity. Finally, imagine sitting by the fireplace in a cozy room. Before you is a roll of silk, glowing in the firelight. The journey of silk is complete, from ancient China, through Rome, Byzantium, the medieval era, the Renaissance, India, Japan, to the modern world. Can you hear the fireplace? Crackle, crackle. The scent of silk lingers, like a long dream. Breathe deeply. Relax. Sleep well.